Welcoming you to the Leela Podcast, a place where you can discover all things Osho Leela. You'll get to meet the community, learn about community life, and listen in as we share about our upcoming events and workshops from the perspective of the facilitators and the attendees, supporting you to find your way to Leela.
Hi and welcome to the Leela Podcast. I'm Amber and I'm here with Navi today, who's a much loved long-term member of the Leela community. You've been here a very long time. First of all, could you tell us a bit about your role at Leela?
Well, my day-to-day work here is basically being over the redevelopment of the property and the house, along with others, of course, because I have a builder's background, so I understand this type of work. And my other role is working with people, leading workshops, counselling sessions, and meditations, and this sort of thing. And my pet hobby, because I used to be a DJ in clubs many years ago, is a DJ.
Oh, amazing. Could you tell us a bit about your therapeutic background?
Oh, my therapeutic background. Well, many years ago, I was living in Australia, and I was very much into drugs and partying, and then I met a man called Varesh, and he invited me to Holland, and I went to Holland in the late 80s, and when I got there is when I really realised how, let's say, under the influence of that lifestyle I was, and I spent many years trying to recover from that lifestyle, and eventually I moved into being trained in the work of working with people because I'd been through years of groups and trainings.
And how did you come to be at Leela? Could you tell us a bit about your journey getting to Leela?
Yeah, well, because I became a therapist in the Netherlands and at Humaniversity, I would come here every so often to lead a workshop as part of the trainings that we were doing here at that time. And then I left Holland, and after a few years, I was invited here to come and help out with, let's say, the transformation of Leela, because it was time to let go of the old way and create a new way here. Yeah.
And could you just tell us a bit more about Humaniversity and also Varesh?
Yeah, well, Varesh was, first of all, my friend, right, and then secondly, my teacher. And we had very similar histories in the sense that we both came from sort of street mentality, taking a lot of drugs, and then eventually trying to get ourselves sorted out, which we did. And of course, he was a master of working with people. He could see through all my, let's say, negative behaviour, and because I was not an easy person, I didn't understand what looking at yourself mean. I had no idea, look in the mirror, look at yourself. No, it didn't mean that, but I never understood it. And he also was very clear to keep reminding me that there was nothing wrong with me, because all I could see was negative behaviour, I'm no good. And he helped me come through that and come into my heart. And I will be forever in his debt. I would not be alive without his friendship and his support. Yeah.
And Varesh was part of Humaniversity, which is...
Varesh was the founder of the Humaniversity, and he's very well known in therapy circles. And he passed away a few years ago, and he left a great legacy, which is also elements of his work are very strong here in Leela as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and he also worked closely with Osho, didn't he?
He was very close with Osho, and he could. Osho touched him, so he in turn used what he got from Osho to teach other people, and that in turn is what I do and what a lot of people who train in that type of work do. We're passing on,
And how about your connection to Osho and being a sannyasin? How did that come about? Was that part of the same journey?
Well, it wasn't so spiritual. I'm not such a big spiritual person in that sense. I was not on a mission to to find the master, which a lot of people are. I come from a very gangster background, and I'd been in trouble with drugs and was in prison and everything, and it was such a shock, some of the things that happened to me. And a friend of mine invited me to come to their centre, which was in Bristol in the UK. And I went there and I just fell in love with the people. It was a bit one of those moments, wow, I've been looking for this without realising, and from that I became a sannyasin, which is somebody that recognises who Osho is. And yeah, that was the best move I ever did. Mm. Yeah, and that also was the beginning of me living in proper communities. I'd always lived in shared houses, and living in communities, it was a discovery of, wow, what a great way to live, with other people, like-minded people. You're doing it together, the vision, common goals, and whereas before it was always my individual trip of chasing money, not being very self-aware, and so becoming part of the Osho group of people was really a gift. Mm. Yeah.
Mm. And you mentioned sort of running courses here, weekends, and like therapy workshops. One of the trainings that you're involved in is the Leela Life Training. Could you tell us first a bit about the Leela Life Training as a whole, just to give an overview of it?
Well, the Leela Life Training is a series of groups which are it's like a guided journey through who you are, to self-discovery, working with child and primal work, with emotional work, with male-female work, there's spiritual work, it's like a kaleidoscope of different groups for you to discover who you really are.
Mm.
Yeah.
And one of the Leela Life Training groups that you'll be running in January is Truth of the Heart, which I'll be attending, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't actually know that much about it, though. It's just I knew that I wanted to do a group with you for quite some time, actually, so I'm really looking forward to it, but I just wanted to find out a bit more about it.
Yeah, I've led many groups in my life, and they've always been very specific, primal or encounter or all the different areas. And I wanted to develop something with my broader experience, because coming from where I come from and being able to find my heart and fall in love with myself and see that I'm a beautiful person. And I want to bring that into the workshop, that everybody has the opportunity to feel who they really are, because often you don't know what the truth of the heart really means, actually, and because we're very mental as human beings, and we identify so much with the mind, and the mind is, a lot of it is developed from historic abuse, if you like, conditioning, trauma, what you didn't get as a child, and all this plays into who you are today. So being able to just open that door and just show there is a way where you can be happy, because I know a lot of us have self-sabotage behavior. We don't like ourselves, we think we're not good enough. We create life situations which reinforce our negative beliefs. With the truth of the heart, I want to open that door so that people can see, actually, I'm really a beautiful person. It's very important that we all feel that.
So what can people expect from Truth of the Heart?
Well, this is a new concept for me. I wanted to develop a workshop bringing all my life experience on the positive and the negatives, because that's who I am. And I know that as a teacher, as a therapist, people don't have to do what I did to get there. There's so many shortcuts. Consciousness has shifted. And within this group, I want to open the door that people can start to feel their heart, feel what they want in life. Because often our mind is so strong, and the conditioning we have and all the traumas and all the different things that make us function to survive get in the way. So if we can open that door and have a look, what is it you really want? Who are you? What is your pathway? And that starts with the heart, always. Yeah.
Oh, so it's about opening the heart.
Opening the heart. Yes.
And who would you say the workshop is for?
Everybody. Because we all need that, no matter who you are. And we all need to be able to look in the mirror without the ego and say, you're beautiful, I love you. And it took me many years till I could do that. I always thought, no, you're not allowed to say that, and I would judge it and, it's not true. And being able to say that you're beautiful and I love you. I work with schema therapy. I've included it in my work. It's not everything I do, and that was a real eye-opener for me because I did so much work on myself, and there was still part of me that were not functioning so well, And when I discovered schema work, I thought, wow, this part I'd never looked at. I'd never looked at the part as a child what I didn't get, and it's easy for me. My father was a psychopath. He was very violent. So I can always blame, it was always my father, and my mother couldn't protect me, so I could always blame my parents somewhere, But what I hadn't understood was there's a part of me that hadn't been taken care of as a child, which is on a deeper level. And I didn't get the care I needed, I didn't get the love I needed, I didn't get the guidance I needed, I didn't get the nourishment I needed. And that I'd never really looked at. I was more busy with being the victim of the life, which is what a lot of people end up being. Blame the past, blame this, blame that. So looking at that part, what was missing as a child? What can you give to yourself now which you didn't get as a child? Because that's the way to heal. You have to go back and look at this part in you, what was missing something. And we all have something, My story is my story, But I think everybody can all identify, wow, my parents didn't give me this, or they overdid it, or something. But that shapes who you are. And once you start to heal that part, then your heart opens more. You start to see, wow, you're a beautiful person.
So how does schema therapy work in practice to sort of get in touch with those child parts that might have been wounded?
Well, what I do personally, we have maladaptive coping modes, which means we behave in a way that doesn't fit the situation, if you like, and that's the survival mode. And what we need to do is, without getting too much into the psychological breakdown of ourselves, we need to understand that's what we're doing. We need to understand that we are responsible for who we are. It's not about the history. The history, you can always blame history, then you're not responsible. But what I have learned is I'm always responsible, whatever it is. I come from addiction, and I could blame this, blame that, but no, at the end of the day, I am responsible. And if it's difficult, then I have to get help, or you have to get help. And with schema, it uncovers this mechanics of your behaviour, because that's really important that you can understand, why do I behave like that? Why am I reacting like that? Why do I create, unfulfilling relationships all the time? And this sort of thing is all historic, and that's the part what we have to understand. Otherwise, we just beat ourselves all the time. My relationship doesn't work, beat myself. My job doesn't work, beat myself. This is what we do. That's why we don't progress. That's why we don't allow our hearts to open, because we just keep thinking we're not good enough.
And you do quite a few therapeutic weekends as well.
Yeah.
I think you did 1 or 2 this year, and I believe you've got some coming up possibly next year.
Emotional wellbeing,
Yeah,
which is something I developed as well, because I felt I love the title of emotional wellbeing, because it's the key to who you are. If you don't take care of your emotions, then you get sick, physically sick as well. And it's well known that if you're not healthy emotionally, you can create disease, you can create cancer. It's not the only thing that creates cancer, but it is one of the elements, And so the more emotionally healthy you are, the more your life will be a beautiful happening, instead of a struggle, instead of never quite getting what you really need, So, yeah.
And could you just tell me a little bit about the emotional release meditations you sometimes run at Leela? Because that's a big part of Leela, the Om meditation and dynamic, where people are encouraged to kind of just let everything out, and in a sort of controlled way where that's being, you hold space for that, or other people who are facilitating.
Yeah, I mean, what we do here is in Leela is we create a safe space. It sounds a bit scary, emotional release, screaming and shouting, but actually it's liberating. It's so great to let go of the nose. It's so great to go beyond the fear. And so we create, and it's always very short. It's never too long, and it's a package. You express, you take in the love, you get support, and you share what it was all about. What did you see about yourself? And it's the cornerstone of being a healthy person, is just to let it out. And it doesn't always necessarily mean vocal expression. Sharing is liberating. Often in the world people don't share. They just swallow, swallow, swallow. Dancing, all these different expressions. But dance, when you do all these things with awareness, it has a different effect, so, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously out in the real world, it's not really encouraged. If you're living in, like, say, a flat with neighbours, you can't just start screaming out of nowhere. They might call the police.
No.
So, like at Leela, people get a chance to just let go and let everything out. And I think that's a big part.
It's transforming. I mean, many people say, wow, what a gift to be able to just let it out, and and it's not always easy for everybody. We can accept that. And some people we have to, say, metaphorically sort of hold their hand a little bit. But once people start to let go of their feelings and allow their hearts to open, they transform. We see it a lot here. We see people arrive here, in 3 or 4 weeks later, it's like a different person. They're suddenly like, oh wow, I never realised there was a place like Leela, and because Leela's unique, in the UK, and it's very, very special. It's a place of love and care and all the things that come into that to make it happen,
And this week you're going to be running another Leela Life Training group called Man Alive. I just wanted to ask, why is men's work important for men to work with other men?
Well, for me personally, it was important, because I had such a violent history and father and that, I couldn't make friends with men very easily. And, underneath there was a lot of fear. I'm going to get hurt if I go close, And so leading men's group, which I've done a few times over the years, it's always, it's a different space than a mixed group, and because we have a lot of common history together. And we don't always open up so easily, it's really, we create a safe space, and where men can meet each other, men can share, men can see, wow, we're all in the same sort of boat, if you like. And what I love about men's group is everybody at the end is like so thankful and feels so beautiful and so liberated that they gave them space to just be there with the group,
Oh, thank you. So for someone who might be a bit nervous or anxious about attending Truth of the Heart or another weekend with you, and they're not quite sure if it's for them, what would you say? Do you have any words of encouragement?
Jump, because the worst thing that can happen is that you'll fall in love with yourself, and what I will say, if you are insecure and you want to talk to me, I am open to that. You just need to call our booking office, leave a message, and I will call you back. And I do that with people because I understand. When I first did a group, it was like, I couldn't get in the door. It was very difficult. But Truth of the Heart is going to be a group where it was going to be a very beautiful group. It says that in the title, and that's the goal, that you leave the room feeling, wow, I've been touched in my heart. And if you're insecure, please connect with me. I'm very happy to give you some words of guidance and advice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that you wanted to add?
If you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? Because life is so short. You know, I'm 70 in 2 months' time, and suddenly I'm almost 70, and I've done a lot, so I cannot complain. But I know how quick life can go, and the more that you take responsibility for who you are to become happy and a loving person, the more your life will reflect that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Navi, for being here today and sharing your wisdom and your gifts. And I'm really looking forward to Truth of the Heart in January.
Yay!
And hope to see some of you there as well.
Yeah, looking forward. Remember, you need some advice on the group, particularly, contact our booking office.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, just get in touch or go to our website www.oshalila.uk and stay tuned for future episodes of the Leela Podcast.